It's time to peel back with Maddie Levine, presented by Fight Bananas.
Happy Wednesday. Hey guys, it's Maddie Levine back here for the peel back. Thank you for joining me yet again for another awesome episode. Feeling real good. We're midweek. We're almost to the weekend. And it's kind of crazy because I feel like I just got back from Atlanta, Georgia. Had a fun little week over there, checking out my first show for the PFL. And it was fun. Make sure you head over to the last episode because I gave you a little POV of how it went, and it was really fun. So I was very impressed by the stars of the show, and I'm really excited to have one of the stars from PFL 6. He is in the semifinals coming up, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about that. So Shane Burgos, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So how are we feeling about being under that PFL banner now? I mean, you seemed at home when I saw you.
Yeah, like you said, I felt very at home. My second fight now at the PFL. I've been with them for unofficially just under a year, almost a year, to be a year in I think September. So yeah, it's been smooth sailing. It's been very seamless transition from the UFC to the PFL, and they treat me great. I got no complaints, honestly.
Have you ever fought in Georgia before or Atlanta?
I never been to Atlanta. That was my first time going to Atlanta, so that was awesome. But yeah. So I love the city. It was an awesome spot. Undefeated in Atlanta now, so that's cool. I'll hold that with me forever. So I liked it a lot.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to see the city, but I hear really good things. So did you get a chance to kind of like walk around and see the city that you were fighting in?
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't do too much, obviously, because it's weight cut week. You don't want to spend too much energy on walking around, but I definitely got to sightsee a little bit.
Nice. And I understand that you're from the Bronx, so obviously spending a lot of time on the East Coast. I did have a fan chime in online, and this seems to be the popular question. What is the best pizza in the Bronx?
I haven't been back to the Bronx in so long, so I cannot name one spot. But honestly, if you guys want a good pizza review, you either got to go to the Barstool guy, right? Barstool president, Dave Portnoy, or you got to go to the or on Instagram. They got some bangers on there. So those are my go-to if I want to go get a good pizza. I check out where the highest ratings are, and then I go check it out from there.
All right, I'll take that advice. So where are you living now these days? Are you still in New York?
Yeah, I live in New York. I live about an hour away from the Bronx right now, north. So they I mean, when you live in the Bronx, you consider this upstate until you live really upstate, and everyone's like, oh, you don't even, you know what I mean? So I'm about an hour from the city.
And it sounds like you are setting some serious roots down. You know, you got a couple kids, you got a lady, and now you got another kid on the way. Mentally, how are we feeling about adding another little one to the mix?
I'm ready to go. My wife's ready to go, ready to spit her out. I got my two kids inside right now. One right here, the other one's screaming in the background. Ready to add the third one and make it even crazier.
Do you know if it's a girl or a boy or?
It's another girl. So I'm two girls, a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and now I gotta have a brand new baby girl coming in.
Oh my! Wait, so you have a clan of girls?
Yeah. So my wife.
Oh my gosh, you poor thing.
Yep. I'm outnumbered.
Do you think that has made you a little soft in your old age?
That's a great question. I wouldn't say soft, but it's definitely changed me. That's for damn sure. It's definitely changed me.
Yeah. Do you like kind of get tripped up now before you fight at all? Because I always get fascinated by some fighters love to think about their family before they get in. Others are like, I'm gonna pretend like I don't have one. Where do you lie in that?
I like to think about them up until the point where I'm backstage and I'm like, all right, I need to stop thinking about them too much because I'll start crying. Like the fact that I'm doing this for, like, even on fight day, I talk to them and every time I get teary-eyed just talking about it because as much as I started out doing this for me, now it's 100%. It's all for them. Like it's for their futures and everything I do. I put myself in these uncomfortable situations for them. Like I love it. I love what I do. Yes, but I got to provide for them, and I'm the father. I'm the breadwinner in the family. My wife's a stay-at-home mom. So yeah, all the pressure in the world coming from them, from that side of it. So any added pressure on top of that doesn't faze me at all. It's just I gotta win. I gotta fight. I gotta perform. I gotta provide for my family. So yeah. Like I said, up until the point where I'm about to go there, because I don't want to think about my kids when I'm getting ready to go into that cage, try to kill somebody. I mean, because you get a little bit too emotional. So right up until that point, I like to keep them in mind.
That's good to know. I like that because some people are like, I'm just gonna pretend like I don't even have a family. And I feel like I would be like that because I'm like, I'm such an emotional human. So I don't know if I could do that. But the cool part is like you're always gonna be a winner. You get to go home to a really awesome family, which
100%.
is such a blessing, right?
Yeah.
But looking back, like on your career, you've had such an extensive career. And when you look back on, let's call it your roster of fights, like do any of them stand out as one of your favorites or maybe the most memorable?
The most memorable has got to be the UFC debut, just because of the way it happened. Like 2 weeks notice, in Albany, which is only about an hour and a half away from where I live. Packed arena. I just had a huge a regional fight fall out, and then I got that call on 2 weeks notice on short notice. It was just felt like the stars were aligned. There were no nerves for me going into that fight. I had my first daughter on the way, and I was broke. You know what I mean? Like divine intervention, I fully believe in, and that was just one of those crazy moments where I was like, "There's no way this is happening. Oh shit, it's happening!" And I remember making the walk to the cage, and I was like, "There's no way I can lose. Like I'm meant to be exactly where I'm at right now."
That's some powerful stuff too. Like when it's like manifested forever and then it's finally coming true. If there was one word to describe that moment, what word would you choose?
It's unforgettable.
Unforgettable. And it's so special too because so many people in life strive their whole life to have an unforgettable moment. So to already have those moments, like
Yeah.
how does that feel to know that you are straight up living an unforgettable lifestyle?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like a lot of people, they have dreams, they have goals, they have aspirations, and then they get older and they let go of that shit. Life takes them by surprise, and then they go their own route and they end up working for somebody. And I'm proud to say, like, I stuck to my guns. I burned all the boats and I put all my eggs in one basket, and it paid off. I'm able to give my family a beautiful life, doing what I love to do and doing what I wanted to do, doing what I said I was going to do since I was a teenager. To be able to do that gives me so much pride. Like I gave them everything with my bare hands. You know what I mean? Like the hard work, the blood, sweat, the dedication that I've put into the sport paid off.
Yeah, like literally with your bare hands. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
They might be too
yeah.
young, but are any of them showing interest in martial arts?
Well, my oldest, she's 6 years old. She trains right now, and then my youngest is just a beast. She's a little gremlin. We call her. Her name is Grace. We call her Gremlin Grace because she's this little tank. It beats up her sister all the time. So yeah, they're both. Honestly, the smaller one is going to be more interested, I think, than the bigger one. She's a little more girly, but she still trains.
And when you say train, are you saying like jujitsu,
Just
kickboxing?
both.
Both. That's
Yep.
so cool, man. I
Yep.
love that because and when you're not in the martial arts world, aka my brother who has a bunch of kids and he doesn't see the value in
Yeah.
jujitsu for young kids, would you agree that that's something that just gives them such discipline?
Absolutely, absolutely. And my kids they don't really have a choice. Especially, I mean, being girls, I need them to know how to defend themselves. I was the head instructor at one of the Tiger Showman schools for I don't even know how long. So I've seen the benefits. I mean, I've obviously lived the benefits, like the confidence you get in being able to defend yourself. There's nothing that can substitute for that kind of confidence that you have in being able to defend yourself. And I felt that. I've seen it with my students before, so I knew instantly. I was like, oh yeah, my kids have to do it. It's not about whether they want to or not. I don't care if you want to or not. You have to learn how to defend yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. And my kids, like you said, probably not going to have much of a choice. They're going to have to give it a shot for sure.
It is what
Um,
it is. Yeah.
yeah, but for now, Dad's the fighter. And you got a chance to get that dub last weekend. And I gotta say, I was surprised to not see Hurricane Shane swinging for the fences. We went with the grappling route. Was that always the game plan for you coming into this fight?
Yeah, so it was. I knew I had a big advantage on the ground. I thought it was just, the way the fight played out was a little bit weird. I didn't expect it to play out that way. I knew I'd be able to take him down, and I knew I'd be able to control him on the ground. But his willingness to stay on the ground was a little bit surprising to me. Like I thought he would
Yeah.
try to force a scramble. Like I would open up to give him positions to be able to scramble to try to get back up to his feet, and that's where I thought I would be able to jump onto his back and choke him out or catch something in one of those scrambles. But he never really tried that hard to stand up. He was just content laying on his back. And I remember thinking, I was like, if I pass the guard and I get to side mount, I can't elbow. I was like, I shouldn't even spend too much energy trying to get to the side mount because if I can't elbow, like I'm not gonna be able to land at like good strikes. Honestly, if you're looking at from a grappling perspective, like for ground and pound, the best position to land strikes is the open guard sorry, the closed guard or the half guard, which is where I was the whole time, and I was landing significant strikes. I thought I had him out in the first round at one point, but the dude's got in because I was dropping some bombs on him. But like I said, it was just weird the way it played out. I really thought he was going to be more try to get up, more urgent trying to get up, and he never really was. So I didn't get that chance to jump on his back and choke him. He was more content with just making sure I don't pass his guard.
And I was shook that he was 20 years old when they had like the stats coming up on the screen, and I was like, he's 20 years old. Are you kidding? But yeah, I thought the same thing. Like I felt like he was just doing just enough on the bottom to stay active, and I was waiting for like some sort of explosion. And I think maybe it just shows that, you know, like he's young in the game and he's got a lot to learn. But I mean, to have Shane Burgos now on his Tapology is pretty awesome. So let's go towards the controversy of what we keep hearing about the semifinals. We had that fight with Schultz and Manfio. Were you able to watch the fight at all?
Yeah, I was backstage during that fight.
And I mean, your knee-jerk reaction to when you were watching it, how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I could tell. Like you could see I mean, I sympathize with those guys. I'm not a heartless motherfucker. Like I get it, man. Like they're best friends, like godfather of the other one's daughter, I think it is. Like that's a good position to be in. So I do feel for them in that position. But watching it backstage, you could tell like it was they didn't want to hurt each other. Like and like I said, I sympathize with them because I've never been in that position to fight a teammate, let alone a best friend. So I do feel for them.
Yeah, it was definitely an awkward position for them to be in. And like that's where the double-edged sword comes in, I feel like, because it's like they had no choice. Like they were matched. They had to figure it out. Did you have any information before heading into your fight that they were disqualified?
No, not at all. Everyone thinks that I did for some reason, but I didn't get word of that. And I have absolutely no reason to lie. I didn't get word of the whole thing happening until I landed back in Newark. So I landed back in Jersey, and my phone's blowing up with a bunch of stuff. And it took a minute. My PT was on the flight with me. He's like, Shane, he's a couple rows back. I'm like, what's up? He's like, did you see what PFL posted on the flight? I'm like, no, what is it? So he like throws me his phone from a couple hours back. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, grab my phone, the texts are blowing up. And I'm like, holy shit, what is going on right now? And then I spoke to my manager, and I found out that way. Literally on the plane still when I found out.
Right. So what is your response to the critics that are saying, oh, this was a ploy to get the PFL star into the semifinals?
I can see what you guys are saying. Like I can listen. If you ask me, do I deserve to be in this position? Yes, I do think I deserve to be in this position. But do I think I deserve to be in this position more so than Natan? No, I don't. The dude, I mean, no matter what, like he has 2 wins going into the playoffs. So I think he does deserve it more so than I am. Than I am. At the end of the day, it says win on his record over Manfio, and it says win over his record over Stevie Ray. So he has 2, and I'm 1-1. So yeah, he deserves it more than I do. I still think I deserve it overall, but not more than him. I don't. I mean, if you got to pick 4 guys, the 4 guys that have 2 wins each, those guys deserve it ahead of me. I'm the 5th guy, the next guy in line after that. And then if you want to say like PFL wants to put their star in there, like they're giving me the hardest guy. I think like they're giving me Clay for my next one. So like I think Chael Sonnen said it on one of his podcasts with Ariel. Like I'm not getting a toss-up fight with Clay. That's a fucking banger of a fight right there. It's an awesome fight, but it's not an easy fight at all.
Right. And your overall thoughts on how the PFL handled it. What do you think? I mean, it's from matching them to deciding to suspend them. I mean, what is your initial thoughts on how they handled it?
Yeah, double-edged sword, like you said. Shit. Maybe hindsight's always 20/20, right? Maybe don't match them up unless it's in a playoff position or unless it's for the $1 million. Then I think maybe it would have panned out a little bit differently because they could have matched them up later if need be. So but then how they handled it, I understand what they're doing. Like they brought up their reasoning for doing it. I understand it business wise. I do get it. But then on the other hand, it's like you gotta put those guys in that awkward position in the first place where we could have avoided it just by having them fight later. So double-edged sword, like you said. I understand the frustration for everybody from the outsiders and from Schultz and Manfio. I completely understand. It's a shit position. But then I also understand the frustration from the PFL when they're trying to put on these fights and then you guys don't want to fight each other. Understandably, I completely get it. Yeah, just maybe don't put them in that position to begin with, because it was a shit position to be in. You got a guy that's his daughter's looking at you fight her godfather.
Yeah.
That's weird, man. That's really weird.
Yeah. But I mean, from what I've gathered from this, you had no idea. And
No.
At the end of the day, you're in the running because of the work that you put in. So it's written in stone, and now you're moving on. You have a crazy fight ahead of you with Clay Collard. Did you get a chance to see his performance that night, last weekend?
Yeah, same. So I was backstage getting my hands wrapped while his fight was going on too. So yeah, but yeah, like you said, it's everything worked out the way it worked out, right or wrong, however you want to say. I have to just take it for what it is. It is what it is. It kind of sucks being in this position for me, because it kind of takes away. Like I'm in this position, but everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't be in this position. So it kind of fucking sucks being in this position, right? On one hand, the other hand is like, you know what, go out there and make the most out of it. So it's exactly what I plan on doing. I have to go out there and have to make the most out of it. But yeah, it definitely makes it a little bit like bittersweet being here, because of people saying that it's favoritism that I'm here.
And I could feel how mentally exhausting that would be too.
Yeah. So like I said, one hand I'm excited, I'm happy about it. And the other hand is like, damn, I gotta like deal with everybody saying you don't deserve it. Which I like I said, I get it, guys, but I didn't go backstage and be like, put me instead, take them out. I would never do that. Like, that's corny. It is what it is. I have to go out there and make the most out of it. And Clay had a great fight with Stevie Ray the other day. So yeah, it's gonna be a banger.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're going against Clay Collard, and so what's the past is the past, and we gotta worry about the semifinals now. So I think this is going to be the fight to watch. I think this is going to be super exciting. Obviously, we're not going to talk about game plans. There's no point in shedding light on that. I think we're just gonna see how it unfolds. But you say it's bittersweet. You say you have something maybe to prove. And if all goes well, like, what does the elite Shane Burgos look like in the semifinals?
Oh man, I just want to let the best Shane Burgos the world's ever seen. That's what I have to bring. It's not an easy fight. It's a fight that gets me excited. Like, it's one of those fights like he's a dangerous guy. He's stylistically, I think it's such a fun matchup as a fan, and as a fighter being in this position. It's one of those fights that gets me excited. It wakes me up. I mean, gets me going in the morning. So I'm fucking pumped for it. The best Shane Burgos is what I have to bring to beat Clay Collard, and that's what I plan on doing.
I love it, man. Well, congratulations on making it into the semifinals. No matter what, how it happened. So congratulations. And I'm really excited to see the best version of you when the time comes. It's going to be great.
Yep, back in New York, back in my hometown too. So 7-0 New York. I'm looking to make it 8-0. Can't fucking wait.
I love it. So, and